would he have made of Chelsea in the last 2-3 years?
Oh, it's tough to, we've all said what we have to say, obviously, about the club, about the transition, about the players, about the managers come. And first of all, of course, it starts from the owner. It starts from the top. The new owners have come into the club. I don't know them that well. I know Roman really well. I knew what Roman stand for the club. He wanted the club to succeed. But that is the most important. I think the owners, they do come into the football club now to it's a bit of a business for them. They own the billionaires, they own, a few clubs here and there. And for them, they come in, they want to make more money. But for Roman, it was about how much he loved the club. So I think it should start from the owner. The owners should love the club and want the club to succeed. And that's what Roman wanted. And that's why we were so successful. So now, the new players, obviously, I don't know them that well. I don't know if they know what the club stands for. The club, we've built the club for the past 10, 15 years. It was a winning machine. We knew how to win games. We knew how to win trophies. So, for Poch to pay the price come the end of the season, I thought they would have given him, again, start of the season and see how it goes, because we finished the season well. Like you've just said, Europe...
was one of those where both parties didn't appreciate each other. I don't think the club appreciate they had a good enough...
Why didn't they appreciate the manager?
I'm saying, because I don't think... Maybe he's not the biggest name. Maybe the CV resume wasn't as strong as some people they've had in the past. For some reason, there's been a dislike and a distaste to Enzo Maresca. Not sure the fans have totally bought into him yet. He had a similar thing at Leicester. Now, again, I don't know if that's part of his personality or the way he works. But likewise, I think he, at times... should realise this is one of the biggest jobs in Europe. A Big Six club with a great squad that needs developing, but with potentially a great squad. We've seen it, as you said, the PSG. They took Barcelona in a brilliant game recently.
That's a month ago.
We've seen them go against Arsenal down to 10 men and push, the way they did. So there's huge potential in this group. So from Maresca's point of view, Rob, and we're hearing it's mutual, so both sides feel it's untenable, can't work together. I just wonder if I'm Maresca, can I find a way to work with this group and stay at this football club? Because the potential of what it could be is title winners, is Champions League winners, is domestic cup winners. You don't get that at too many football clubs.
So what are you saying, that he found a way to mess it up? That he rattled too many cages? The reports, David Ornstein again talked about he contacted, or his people contacted Man City.
I know he's got Jorge Mendes as his agent now, hasn't he? Which might be putting things... Yeah,
why is he doing that? Is he unhappy in the environment, or is this bad? Is this just bad on him?
Again, just for our viewers and listeners, there is a big difference between a head coach and a manager.
Hi there, I'm Rebecca Lowe, studio host of NBC's coverage of the Premier League. Don't forget to hit subscribe to watch more videos all season long. And for even more Premier League content, from original series to live matches, head over to Peacock.
So we start the new year with the news that Enzo Maresca sacked at Chelsea. Chelsea Football Club and head coach Enzo Maresca have parted company, with key objectives still to play for across 4 competitions, including qualification for the Champions League football. Enzo and the club believe a change gives the team the best chance of getting the season back on track. Right, Jules, since that statement, a lot of rumours rumbling around about exactly what happened. Of course, this all started with that press conference a few weeks ago when he said this has been the worst 48 hours he's had at Chelsea. There are suggestions that he told the board that Juventus and Manchester City were interested in him and he wouldn't speak to them anymore if Chelsea gave him a new contract. Is there any worth to this, any sort of validity?
Yeah, this is all true, all part of the reason why Chelsea decided to part ways with Enzo Maresca. The one about City and Juventus, I think, were the one is the thing that annoyed the board and the owners the most. There's a clause in Maresca's contract in case he's approached by another club or talking to another club that he has to come clear to Chelsea and say, listen, I've talked to X, Y, and Z. In this case, City and Juventus. The mistake that Maresca and his people, Jorge Mendes, especially his agent, made massively, especially in terms of timing, but just overall even, was to leak those discussions with City and him being on the shortlist of City in case Pep Guardiola was to leave the club, for example, at the end of the season, because that went down really, really badly with the Chelsea ownership. Obviously, as you can imagine. On top of that, there was a lot of tensions between him and the board because of bad results, 2 wins in the last 9, for example. This is not good enough. Some of his own decisions haven't been good enough in game management, but also in terms of team selection at the start of games. There's been issues between him and the medical staff in terms of protocols around players coming back from injuries, players while they were injured. And I think the club felt, listen, this team is not improving individually, collectively, and right now it's too risky. Let's just remind everybody before Craig can give his opinion that Chelsea have to qualify for the Champions League next season. If they fail to qualify for the Champions League financially, this would be catastrophic for a team that is already, in terms of financial fair play and PSR, on very much borderline.
Craig?
Well, look, it's not often that I've thought that this current Chelsea hierarchy have done things properly. And whilst there is two sides to every story, when you look to them as if you're looking for an escape possibly elsewhere, or even trying to use it as a bit of a blackmail for a new contract, it's only going to end up one way. Unless that is, your results are so stratospherically good that the board are in a bit of a juxtaposition where they can't be seen to be letting them go. But 2 wins in 9 in their recent form suggests otherwise. And when you're sort of more or less touting yourself at these potential jobs that may or may not become available, then the club are going to take a longer term view. So I have no sympathy for them whatsoever, because when you play those cards and you're sitting at the poker table, and you love a bit of poker, Dan, and all that sort of stuff. When you're sitting there, when you play a hand as powerful as that, or you think it's as powerful as that, you better make sure you can back it up. And he hasn't. And so I where they go, I have no idea what they do next. But when you're sort of saying, well, I'm going to be talking to City, I'm going to be talking to them, and maybe try and jump ship, but if you give me a new deal, that's akin to trying to blackmail them in a sense. So certainly trying to strong arm them. So yeah, listen, was he doing a decent job? Yeah. And was it brilliant? No. Yeah, I mean, they won the Club World Cup. I mean, spare me, people will bring that up, won't they? Oh, the success, the Conference League, and where he played the second team, and the Club World Cup. I mean, spare me, as Jill said, it was all about this year getting amongst it, getting in the top 4, potentially putting some sort of challenge in at the top, which seems to have fallen away. So when you're touting yourself around, I have no sympathy whatsoever for Enzo Maresca.
You can get away with this if you're top of the table.
Yeah.
Everything's going well, but as Jules and Craig say, you win 2 in 9 against Everton, and I can't remember the other one in the Carabao Cup. It's like, what are you doing?
The timing of this was poor. When I first heard the news, the first thing that came to mind was, well, here goes Clear Lake and Todd Bowley and whoever else is involved, kind of being a little bit haphazard as you've seen in the past. Kind of given where Chelsea were when Maresca took over, kind of quieting down a dressing room that was overstaffed, and has turned this into, at their best, a good Chelsea team. Right now, they're going through an awful spell, and you thought, okay, ride this out. 4th place is still on offering for you. It really is not a good Liverpool team that are sitting 4th. They're 3 points behind them. But then came the news about him having discussions with Manchester City and others. And for me, that did not make sense. It didn't make sense to leak. And you wondered, well, then, who really was the source of the leak? Because it really looks poorly on Enzo Maresca at this point. Given the job that you were handed 2 years ago, I'm making an argument for you that you're managing that well, and yet still you're kind of flirting with a City job, and nobody's really sure whether Pep is going to leave at the end of the season anyway, and where you are in that pecking order. I thought it was a little arrogant of him to think that he's going to be a shoo-in, or the suggestions that he's going to be a shoo-in for that. So it makes the timing of it couldn't have been any worse, which then comes down to who's managing Enzo Maresca, who's making these statements or making these demands. And again, I think the more you have business people involved in these football decisions, the more they get it wrong.
So who's going to be the next?
I'm just going to say, he's managing Chelsea Football Club, for God's sake. I mean, what is it? What is he? I mean, in some sense, he was lucky to get that job. He did a good job at Leicester. Leicester were expected to go up after dropping down, but he did a good job. They faltered at the end, but then he steps into this Chelsea job, which is, you know, the biggest. But he probably couldn't even believe it. It's not like he was managing Leicester and he was touting himself to Man City and Juventus and others. I can understand that. He's managing Chelsea. Now, I know it's a transitional period. I know it's a tough job, but he might never get the chance. Might never to manage Man City or Juve or whoever it is. So he's pretty much given up the opportunity by the way that they have gone about it, managing one of the most successful clubs, certainly in the last 20 years, in European football. And he might not get that chance again. It's just bonkers.
Having said all of that, Jules, he's not the first Chelsea manager to fall out with this particular board.
Yeah, that's true. And you know what, part of me, and again, I don't know the answer, and I think we probably will find out in the next few days, but maybe that's what he wanted to. Maybe he could feel that there was just those tensions were a bit too much. Hence why there was that incredible press conference with this is the worst 48 hours of my life. Nobody supported us and the club. Who exactly? Then all those leaks about him talking to City and talking to Juventus. Maybe that's what he was looking for. Maybe he was just like, okay, I'm better off out of here. I don't get on with that medical staff, the ownership and the board and what they want me to do. And remember, the last 2 transfer windows, he wanted a centre back. They didn't give it to him. Last summer, he wanted a number 9. Last January, they didn't give it to him either. It's a strange club, the way this is run overall. Let's not forget either. So maybe part of me thinks, okay, that's what he wanted. He was looking for it. And that's why he did all those things. And then in the end, he got what he wanted, and now he's going to do nothing until the end of the season, and then maybe follow Pep or take over Pep or whatever he does, maybe. But you're right, Tuchel and Poch and Potter. I mean, Lampard was a little bit different, and Bruno. To go back to the graphic that we just seen in terms of who've been the managers since the takeover and Bluco took over. So and clear, like it won't be the last. Again, this is a very particular kind of job as a manager where you don't decide much. You're there, you have to work with what is given to you. You don't choose the players, you don't choose the position that are strengthening. You just go, this is who we're getting for you, this is what you have. 50 players, 40 players, age between 18 and 25, all of that. There's just nothing you can say. You go along with it and you work with that. If you're not happy, you can go, don't take the job. And that's why he's very special. And to be fair, maybe he'd had enough of that too.
Having said that, it is still a great job, isn't it? Considering where Chelsea are in the table. Normally you would take over a team who are really struggling. You can't say that of Chelsea, despite their poor run of form of late. And it is Liam Rosenoir. How do you say his name, Jules?
Rosinha.
Rosinha. There you go.
Oh, for God's sake.
That was a joke, Craig.
No, it wasn't.
Rosenoir, of course, favourite. Tell us about him, Jules.
A super young, bright manager. There's no doubt. He's done a really good job at Strasbourg. And again, I know it's Ligue 1 and it's Strasbourg who are owned by Bluco, so same ownership to Chelsea. I think he was put in that job at Strasbourg clearly because the Chelsea ownership believed in his potential and his quality, and that was clearly to develop him and improve him for one day maybe taking over at Chelsea. I think this is maybe a little bit early. I'm not sure if he's ready yet to make that step up. I'm not sure if the Chelsea job is the right one for him either right now. But if he gets that job, we will get those answers very soon. But what's for sure, he's got great principles, great idea. Again, he's still very young, only 41 years old, and very young in his coaching career, a bit like Maresca was, to be fair, when they decided to go with him at Chelsea. But he's got great potential. I just don't know really, and I don't knows if he's ready for this kind of job.
Yeah, this is kind of... You have no real idea, Craig, do you, about whether this is going to work or not?
No, absolutely nothing. I think it's just nobody knows which way they're going to go. It was interesting, though, when Jules was talking about the lack of input from a manager at Chelsea, and maybe slightly different from other clubs in England, but not so much as it was a few years ago, where managers had their fingerprints on, like Arsene Wenger and Sir Alex Ferguson had their paw prints over everything. But surely the Italian and Spanish and German managers should be used to this kind of approach, because we're always told that's how they do it in continental Europe. You know, they have a sporting director and they make the bulk of the signings. The manager has maybe a little bit of input. So, you know, Enzo Maresca would have known, or should have known, certainly around continental Europe, that's the way they've done things for a lot of years. In terms of who's going to come in, this is a sort of throw darts at the wall type of thing at the moment. So I think I'm with Jules. He may be doing a good job in Strasbourg after managing Hull and a little bit of Derby. But that's a big job to come into and a lot of pressure, particularly to get with the objective to get in the Champions League. You got to feel that they would be taking a huge risk going for somebody that is so inexperienced when the aim and the need of that club is to get in that European place.
Yeah, what do you do, Shaq, if you're hiring?
Sure, no, that's the thing. I'm with the boys here and thinking Liam Rosenior is a little bit early in his career, in his management career, to step into a job such as this. But then, if Chelsea put out a statement saying we're going to make a permanent appointment within days or something of the sort, they said, you have to feel it's that this deal is already done, or it's a simple one to be done. And on that list, Liam Rosenior is the only one that kind of ticks that box, being that he's already with the ownership group in Strasbourg. So it points towards Liam Rosenior, but I just don't feel right now he's the right fit. I think in time he will be, and he'll prove himself to be that good a manager, but he's still very early in his management career.
Apparently we have to say goodbye to Craig now, but before we do say goodbye, there's a couple of questions, Craig. Is it a mirror that's broken to the left of you? What is that?
Left of me. Oh,
it looks like you got angry and smashed it up.
No, that's later tonight.
Right.
And it's there are a couple of pictures, and that thing is
the Nutcracker.
Yeah, Christmas decorations.
How tall is it, Craig? It's got to be the same size as me, isn't it?
No, that's not hard.
No, it's bigger than 3'6". I'm looking at it. Do you want me to go and stand next to it?
Yeah, bring it over.
Oh, boy.
Hold on, boys. Hold on.
There you go. Has he got a name?
It's
the same size as me. That is huge.
Yeah. Much taller than you, Dan.
I need to get a hat like that. Then I'd be sorted. Beautiful. Thank you, Craig. Apparently, Craig will be back in the studio tomorrow. Much
Coughing
appreciated.
over everybody.
Yeah, lovely.
I won't be.
No? Okay, well,
I've got an echo.
That's very much an inside joke, as I Frank the Butters on today.